right, April 2026. Let's start with the shout out to the community again. Oopsie. Some cool Monty-Based projects. I don't know. We've been following this one for a couple of months now. Zachary from the University of Loughborough. For his thesis, he's working on this robotic arm and connecting it to Monty and having it move around and learn and recognize objects that way. And yeah, he posted some cool videos of the agent in action. Yeah, exploring a bowl and the TBP mug. Yeah, kind of moving around it and recognizing the object. And yeah, he also submitted his thesis this month. So yeah, congratulations, Zachary. And yeah, it turned out a really cool project. Hopefully we'll get a presentation sometime in one of our research meetings. And then yeah, platform roadmap contribution. Agent Ref started another thread called What Monty Features or Injections to Work on Next, and there's been a lot of back and forth there, and kind of settled on the topic of telemetry collection. So there's a new thread there now if anyone is interested. Basically, this is a large topic on our platform roadmap. And so Agent Ref wrote out kind of a little proposal of how this could be implemented, and yeah, trying to play around and hack something together already, which yeah, really cool to see. And yeah, excited to see that commitment and progress here. Thank you. We had a community PR from Timothy again, this time refactor to tighten the interface type contracts and bound checks in environments and embodied data. Thank you for making that change. And then we had various interesting discussions on the forum. Bryce Bade wrote a nice post on our ultrasound video about how Monty also has this great strength of being very interpretable, and that this is something we should highlight more, and something that's really valued, especially with medical applications. There's an interesting question about continuity and identity in Thousand Brain Systems from Emmanuel. There was Abram, human AI systems architect at Boeing. He shared a preprint about reference frame instability and generative AI output. That also talks a bit about Thousand Brains theory there. And then on another recent video we posted, there were also some interesting ideas from Alberto, a PhD student, about how we might want to think about different ways to represent surfaces in Monty. Then here, Alexis, also first-time post, asked various really interesting questions about motor output and reference frames in Monty. Jeff wrote some nice responses to that one. And then Xavier also asked a good question about how we unsupervisedly determine the end of an episode, and kind of how that ties a bit into Rami's work on burst sampling and recognizing how Monty recognizes that. And then Valentin, also a first-time post, made some interesting comments and observations and questions on Xavier's video, and that discussion has been really nice as well over the past month. Then sharing related research, Ryan shared research from this researcher An Wang Ro, who has some interesting measuring techniques and looking at finding support for lateral voting. Also, thanks to Agent Ref for kind of going through the resources and commenting on some of the highlights in there and sharing a talk from her. And then Sergio shared a paper around world models and self-supervised object-centric representations. Johnny shared some ideas around, or shared some kind of progress on new technology to measure brain activity and asked whether this is something that can be used to test thousand brains theory. And then Agent Ref also shared a nice paper around imagery and imagining things in the brain, and some new research that came out in Science recently with people, I think, epilepsy, or so patients that had implants, and so they could do some really cool recordings there and see what representations are active when imagining things. So yeah, thanks for sharing this research. Always useful to see. Then yeah, writing about TBP, Greg Robinson posted another nice post, Why AI Models Don't Learn, which also mentions the Thousand Brains project. And Bryce Bade also posted a nice blog post on Medium, and also highlighted to me that there's actually a Thousand Brains theory tag on Medium now with various blog posts under that tag. So if you're curious to read more blogs about Thousand Brains project or theory, there's a category on Medium. Sharing Thousand Brains project. So yeah, I always appreciate when someone sees a post and then mentions Thousand Brains project on there or asks about the relationship on it. So for instance, here was a paper from Jan LeCun et al. And others about world models, and Daniel asked whether it's similar to Thousand Brains. Here, another post about kind of AGI and the limits of it, and learning different types of representations, and AGI, how highlighting Astera Institute and Thousand Brains project. Again, another, oh, this the same post. And then Sarthak Putnik with a really nice thread on, yeah, the Thousand Brains book from Jeff. And here was a video by Dwarkesh Patel, where also Inatone recommended a look at our project. So always thanks for highlighting this project. And then, yeah, lastly, we're also always happy to just hear some kind words like these nice comments on our YouTube video on the latest quarterly review. So yeah, thanks for all the contributions, and always happy to see those.